Tonight for dinner, we are having an Indian dry shrimp curry. This is a Kerala style dry shrimp curry that my family has been making for as long as I can remember. It is so delicious. It's spicy and it's warming, and we call it a dry shrimp curry because there isn't really any gravy with it. It takes a long time to cook. It's got a lot of onions in it, and those cook for such a long time. They kind of break down into this mush that kind of acts as a gravy, but it is just absolutely delicious, and it's so easy. It's 9 ingredients, 10 if you count the rice. It takes a couple of hours to cook, but every minute that this cooks on your stove, your house just fills with this absolutely wonderful spicy smell. And this has become something that me and all of my sisters absolutely love. So the very first thing we're going to do is just start by chopping our veggies. There is not a whole lot to chop here. This is a really easy recipe. I'm using about a pound of shrimp, so I'm going to go ahead and do a rough chop on 4 garlic cloves. And this is kind of a lot of garlic for 1 pound, but I like a lot of garlic. If you don't like a whole lot, just do a little bit less. And I like to just kind of give these a quick smack under the knife, which flattens them out, and then I'm just going to super roughly chop these on my cutting board. I'm going to do the same thing to a jalapeno. And if you've got a small jalapeno, I might recommend you do 1.5 or even 2. But we'll be adding a lot of chili powder to this, so the jalapeno is not only there to make it spicy. And I like to take the seeds out just using a small spoon. It kind of just fits right underneath that middle section, and everything just comes right out. And I'm just going to slice this whole thing into strips, really thin strips, and then I'm going to kind of mince it down. And my chili is chopped up, it's minced up really small. I'm just going to set that aside. This is all going to kind of cook down until it becomes a mush. The smaller the pieces, the faster it happens. And then we're just going to do thin slices, super thin slices from a very large onion. And this, again, this is for about 1 pound of shrimp. I think I've got a little over a pound of shrimp that I'll be using. If you are making more, just add more onions and chilies as needed. This just shrinks down a lot because of how long it's going to be cooking for. And I'll leave the onion on the cutting board for now because this is going to go in before the garlic and the jalapeno. This is going to go in and cook for a little while before anything else even goes in the pan. That is basically all of the chopping that we have to do. I am going to go heat up my wok, and we will start this on the stove. All right, my wok is heated up. I'm going to add quite a bit of oil. And then we are just going to go in with our entire sliced up onion. Now this really is going to cook down for a really long time. This is going to cook all the way down to mush. I just want to separate some of these pieces to help the heat reach everywhere. And then I'm also going to add just a tiny little bit of salt, maybe about a 1/4 teaspoon. This will just help wilt the onions and cook them down a little bit faster. I'm going to give that one quick stir, make sure that everything is broken up and make sure that there is oil everywhere. And I'm going to just let this sit for about 10 or 15 minutes before I come and check on it. Our onions have been cooking for about 20 minutes and they've shrunk down quite a bit. but they are not done yet. I'm going to add in our jalapeno and garlic. I'm just going to give that a quick stir, and then I'm going to let this cook for probably another 15 to 20 minutes because we really want all this to cook down until it is super broken down into a mush. I'm going to let that sit and we'll check on it in about 20 minutes. Our onions have been cooking down for quite some time, so we are going to add in everything else. We're going to start with our chili powder. Now this is an extra hot Indian chili powder. It is not the same type of chili powder that you get from a regular grocery store. So I'm only going to add about a teaspoon to that. I'm going to add just a touch of turmeric powder. I don't need a whole lot of that. I'm also going to add some apple cider vinegar, probably only about half a tablespoon. And then about half a tablespoon of tomato paste as well. And I like this one in the tube. It just stays in the fridge so I don't waste any like with the can. And then the last thing is just going to be some minced ginger. If you have whole ginger, you can absolutely use that. I just don't have any of that right now. So minced ginger it is. I'm going to give that all a really good stir. And we're going to let that cook down for just about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we will add our shrimp. All of our spices have cooked together for a few minutes. I'm going to add just a little bit more oil, and then we are going to add in our shrimp. Now I've got jumbo shrimp, so I went ahead and cut them in half, but if you have anything smaller than jumbo, you can just keep them whole. And we really just want to make sure everything is really nicely coated. I'm going to add in just a little bit of water, probably about half a cup. And the shrimp will kind of release some water as this is cooking as well. But this is a dry shrimp. This is not something that's going to have a lot of gravy at the end. So a lot of this water, we're going to just kind of let it evaporate over the next 30 to 45 minutes as it cooks. I'm just going to cover that with a lid and let it cook for a little while, and I'll check on it in about 20 minutes. All right, our shrimp has been cooking for about an hour. I just had it sitting on low. All of my water has evaporated, and this was covered for the entire hour. All of my water has evaporated. My onions are basically a mush, and that's kind of what's acting like our gravy in this dish. But this smells absolutely incredible, and we are going to plate up, and then dinner is done. My rice is done. Our shrimp is ready. This looks and smells absolutely incredible. This is something that I absolutely love to eat. It takes a little while to cook, but it is absolutely worth the wait. It's got such a nice, deep flavor. And this is just over a pound of shrimp. 1 pound of shrimp, I think, is generally enough to feed 2 people if you've got rice and everything to go with it. And it's a little bit spicy. And this is something that's normally really spicy. I've just toned it down a little bit. Cheers. The onions are so soft, everything just kind of melts in your mouth. And the shrimp's got just a tiny little bit of a bite to it. This is so wonderful. I took a breath in the middle of my sentence, and all of the spicy hit me in the back of my throat real quick. No. It's not super spicy. It just took a second. This is so wonderful. It is so warming and delicious, and the onions are so soft. They just make everything comes together so, so wonderfully for this dish.